A straight guy's fun night with his male roommate and his desire for more. Rekindle me. When I turned 20, I moved away from home. I wanted to discover the world on my own. I had my parents' support for a very long time, but I needed to see who I could be on my own. My girlfriend at the time and I decided that we would try to make our relationship work since I was not yet financially stable. I decided that I wanted to have a roommate. I got on the internet and searched for an apartment. That was when I met Oliver, who was looking for a roommate for his apartment. Oliver was a stylist, and he was hardly home, so he needed someone to stay with so that he would have someone to take care of the apartment. I met with Oliver to discuss the apartment, and we got along. It was a beautiful place with 2 bedrooms and a shared bathroom, so I moved in. For the first couple of weeks, I did not see much of him because he was always working. That was okay, because I had work as well. It was a repetitive process. I would go to work, come home, sleep, and repeat. But my girlfriend started to complain that I did not have time to see her. She lived only 20 minutes away from me, but it was a busy time in my life, and I had a lot of things to do. So I could not make time for her, and that was how I woke up to a breakup text one morning. It was a blow. We had been friends for a while before we started to date. It would have probably been better for us to remain friends from the beginning of the relationship. But yeah, I came home from work in a bad mood on that day because my manager had been on my case the whole day. I was tired. My girlfriend had just broken up with me, and I had no friends. So I did what I had been wanting to do all week. I decided that I was going to drink. I bought a few beers and went home. My roommate was not at home as usual. I was lucky to see him once a week. As I was drinking my sorrows away, he came in, cheeks flushed. "It looked like you could use a drink," I said to him. "Yes, I would love one." "The life of a stylist is the worst at times," he said. "What is so hard about dressing people up?" I asked him. He stopped chugging the beer and looked at me in disbelief. "Are you mad?" He waved his hands around dramatically. He was a very expressive human being. I liked that about him. "Sorry, I didn't mean it in that way. I would take your job over mine, any day," I said. "Yeah, we could exchange jobs any day. The way my clients drive me crazy." He finished his beer and took another one. He was drinking much faster than I was. I was only halfway through mine and he was on his second. "I can imagine," I said. "Why are you here anyway?" "It's Friday. Where's your girlfriend?" Yes, I was surprised that he even noticed. He always seemed to be in a rush whenever I saw him. "Dumped me this morning," I said sadly. I have been trying to stay strong, but naturally, it hurt. I hoped that I would not lose her as a friend. "Relationships always end in tears, which is why I do not commit," he said. "I wish I was like that, but I have a heart." I wiggled my eyebrows. His face showed disbelief. "Excuse me, I have a heart. I donate to Greenpeace. I just don't have the energy for relationships," he said. "Yeah, somebody hurt you," I said. "What? Never." He acted shocked, but I could see right through him. I was not sure if I had loved Anika. Maybe a part of me had, but I had just liked hanging out with her. From then, we had started to date. I guess all my friends were dating, and I had been single for a while. She made sense. She was smart and beautiful. She made me happy, so I figured that I liked her. Who knew that it had been all I knew? All I knew was that it was over now. We would never be the same again. "Love makes fools of us sometimes," he said. Those words played in my mind. Was it true? Was loving foolish? What was I even saying? We were both drunk and miserable. We were in no position to give each other love advice. I made to get up, but I swayed, so I clearly had more than I had thought I had. He saw me and he laughed. He had a nice laugh, not mocking in any way, just a nice laugh as if he was just amused by me. I was noticing a few things about him too. "You remind me of a guy that I once dated?" He slurred. The dude was just as drunk as I was. "Oh, really? How so?" I asked him. "You are a lightweight when it comes to drinking." He started to laugh. I found it funny as well, and soon I could not stop laughing. That was the last thing that I remembered from that night. I woke up the next morning, tangled in someone's body, and I had to admit it felt quite nice to be in someone's space. I did not think about it. I just snuggled in with him. Then it hit me. What was I doing? I got up and rushed to the bathroom. I left him sleeping on the couch, looking peaceful. I freshened up and got ready to go to work. My head complained. The effects of last night's drinking, I knew that I was going to pay, so I put on a brave face and went to work. From that day, things between Oliver and me changed. We established a sort of friendship. After work, we would hang out together at home. Sometimes we would talk about random things, have a few drinks, or just unwind. I liked him. He was funny and pretty smart, but there was something else. I felt a certain way about him. There was something about him that made me very affectionate with him. It happened so many times. I would fall asleep with him on the sofa. I would have no energy to go to my room, so I would fall asleep on his lap. Sometimes, he didn't mind in the least. We never discussed it. It was just part of us. This went on for several months. I was comfortable with him, and I had gotten used to our dynamic until he started to bring someone home. I do not know why, but I was very pissed off over the whole issue. I felt that he had betrayed me. I felt that I was a straight man. There was no question about that. But I was so possessive over him, I had no idea what was going on with me, but every time that I saw him with the other guy, I got really annoyed. I hated that the other guy got to spoon with him, and I didn't get anything. Maybe I was becoming very dependent on him. That was why I was sulking like a toddler, because he was hooking up with someone. He was a grown man after all, and he was allowed to do what he wanted. It was none of my business what he got up to, so I would not interfere with his life. That was what I kept on telling myself, but the way that I was acting was different from what I was telling myself. I longed for what we had. I had no idea what it was. I asked a trusted friend about it. Dean had been my friend for years. He knew me from the inside out. He would help me to figure out my feelings for this man. The man who didn't care what anyone said about him, the one who danced to the beat of his own drum. So I went for a walk with my friend Dean. He had visited me for the day. It was nice to unwind for a while after the busy week that I had. We talked about normal things for a whole until I told him about the thing that had been bothering me for a while. "So you enjoy cuddling with him? There's nothing wrong with cuddles," he said, pretending to tackle me. I laughed and pushed him off me. "Yeah, but I also like talking to him, and sometimes he says some things that make my heart feel light," I said. "I'm not sure if you have feelings for him, but from what you were saying, there is more to what is going on with him. Maybe you should try and discuss the matter with him," Dean suggested. "Yeah, that's a good idea," I said. So I asked him if we could talk after he got off from work. He told me that he would be home early and he would be all mine. So I waited impatiently for him to come home. I had been turning over the situation in my head. He had a right to know how I felt about him, even if he was not looking for a relationship at the moment. Soon he arrived home. He looked like he was in a very good mood. "Hey dude, how are you doing?" he asked me. "Great. You look happy. Good news?" I asked him. "Just scored a big client," he said. "That sounds like a reason to celebrate." "Come here," I said to him. I hugged him tightly. I had missed that. His hugs were the best. They soothed me in more ways than I could imagine. Later, though, he wanted to talk to me about something. He changed the subject. I had completely forgotten about what I had said to him earlier. Well, I have to face the music now. There's no use in delaying any longer. He had to find out how I felt about him. "Yes, I wanted to talk to you about something important." I couldn't look into his eyes. I was shy. "Yes," he prompted me. "I was just wondering why we stopped cuddling," I said. He looked at me in disbelief. Then he started to laugh. "So you liked it? I thought you didn't like it." "I did not want to make you feel uncomfortable," I said. "I thought it was because of the fact that you had someone new in your life. Things are more complex than that. You would not understand," he said. "But okay, you say that I will not understand. I think I like you, but I am not sure. Do you understand me?" I asked. "But you are straight." "I did not think that I would stand a chance," he said. "I am new to all this, though. If you could just help me to understand some of the feelings that I have," I said. "Of course, I will do so for you. I like you too, though. We will take this slow. There will be no rush. And if you feel like this isn't for you, just let me know." "Okay," he said. "Thank you. Can we?" I asked him. "Sure, but I think that the bedroom would be much better for so many reasons." He smiled. "Of course," I said, as I followed him to his room. Then I slept like a baby in his arms. I liked the way I felt when I was with him. It was different from how I felt when I was with a girl. So the other guy stopped coming over, and I had all of him all to myself. We took things slow, holding hands and cuddling. In the beginning, he was patient with me as I figured out what I was comfortable with. His kindness was something that I had not expected. We did a lot of things together, and we bonded. It was a very slow type of bonding, but it made me put things into perspective and figure out what I wanted to do with him. After we had been together for 3 months, I started to notice that I wanted something more. I would think about kissing him often, but I was sure that he would kiss me back if I tried. I just knew that it would change the nature of our relationship in a big way. I decided to test it out by kissing him on the cheeks. So one day when we were about to fall asleep in my bed, I kissed him on the cheek. The joy in his eyes. My heart warmed up at the smile that lit up his face. He told me good night, and then we slept, him being the big spoon and I being the little spoon. The next morning, things were a little different. I kissed him on the cheek again, and I really liked it. It was like I was a kid who had just discovered candy. We were washing up one day when he asked me what was up with me, just kissing his cheek and nowhere else. So me being the silly guy that I was, I started to kiss him everywhere, starting on the nose where he let out a squeal and I laughed. Then I covered him in kisses, and he was laughing with glee. I stopped doing that, and I cupped his face with both my hands. I could see the light in his brown eyes. That's the thing I loved about his eyes. Brown eyes and the sun are the most magical thing ever. I'm about to kiss you. Is that okay? I said I was new to dating guys. I guess I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page, and I was really shy. His wife. Well, he smiled and nodded. So I tentatively leaned in and kissed him gently on the lips. It was a very sweet kiss. Not too passionate, just perfect. I felt like the wait had been worth the kiss. He was slow and gentle with me, grazing his lips upon my own until I sought more. I pulled him closer and kissed him properly. My hands played with the hair at the nape of his back. I was tingling all over my body when I pulled away from him. I felt like I had just been brought back to life. He reminded me of a quote that I liked. He rekindled me, heaps of ass that I was, if I remembered correctly. So we started to kiss more, and from then I was sure of my feelings for him. A year after we started what we were doing, we officially became boyfriends. I liked having a boyfriend. He was the most adorable boyfriend. He was kind, always teasing me, and very stylish, a complete package deal. We had each other's backs no matter what. We were loyal to each other and protective of each other. When I started to come out to my friends and family, he held my hand and was there with me throughout the whole process. I never felt alone in the process. My family had varying responses. Some were in shock, some accepted me, and some did not. I knew that was going to happen. I was not always going to be accepted, and that was something that I was learning to live with. I remember when we had our anniversary dinner. It was the sweetest thing ever. We both made an effort to decorate our living room. He was the stylish one, not me, so he ordered me around while he made all of the important choices. When everything was done, I was in awe. In just the space of a few hours, he had transformed the room. I got the food that was in the oven and on the stoves. We were not the best cooks, but our food was edible. Then we sat down and we ate our food. We reflected back on the past year, and he made fun of me, showering him with kisses. I made a mental note to do so later on that night since he seemed to miss it so much. I had been saving up for our anniversary. I got him a watch that I knew he had been keeping an eye on. He got me a book that I had been wanting for a very long time because I loved reading a lot. Then we had some dessert. He then told me that he wanted to say something to me. Sure, tell me, I told him. I'm falling for you. No, I have fallen for you. He said, you mean I started? I'm in love with you, he said. I love you too, I replied. I had known for a while that I was in love with him. I had just been thinking about how I was going to tell that to him, and now he had told me and the wait was over. I never thought that I would have a boyfriend, but I do, and I cherish him very much. Even though he can be quite annoying at times, he does give the best cuddles. So the discount is in his favor. Johnny said, why did you put chocolate on my nose? He shouted. Remember that time when you made fun of me showering you with kisses? I chuckled darkly. Anyone who was next door probably thought that I was murdering him from the way that he squealed. Oh, my boyfriend's so silly. The end. Thanks for reading.